Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Eric Eisen from SoCast, and I am very happy to be here again with you for another SoCast webinar. This month, we're focusing on digital content. It's a topic we've talked about many times before, but it never hurts to refresh, and hopefully there's always some fresh ideas. This is our digital content playbook, your guide to creating engaging digital content. We're very excited. As always, it's one of my favorite times a month. I love doing these webinars, and I hope those who have attended them before enjoy it. Those who are new to our webinar, welcome for your first time. I hope you find it informative. I'm always open to feedback, criticism. I got thick skin, so bring it on. I'd love to hear it. We are always trying to provide you with at least a few nuggets to take away. And today, again, we'll definitely be focusing on your digital content playbook. So let's get into it. As always, we always start with a little bit of housekeeping. We do encourage people to ask questions in the webinar tool on the sidebar or in and around the go-to user interface. There should be an area where you can ask questions. I have my trusty friend Shay answering questions. She'll do her best to answer them in real time. She'll let you know if she has to take it away. And we just ask that we have about 24 hours to get back to you with any unanswered questions. But certainly feel free to provide us with any feedback and any questions you do have about it. My name is Eric Eisen. I head up sales here at SoCast, and you can always tweet your thoughts about the webinar and share it. We love those type of comments. You can use our Twitter handle at SoCast, and you can always hashtag digital dollars as well. A word from your sponsor, of course, which is us here at SoCast. And our mission at SoCast is to make digital growth easy for radio broadcasters. We are a platform that has been built specifically for radio broadcasters to help them grow in two main ways. The first is to help you grow your digital revenue, and the second is to help you grow your digital audience. And we'll do this using our integrated content management system and advertising platform, which really combines through one backend, one dashboard, and one login for your entire organization, the ability to manage content and share it out, whether you have one website or 100 websites, 100 stations or one station. We can help you manage that content for your websites, your mobile apps, your social media. We have streaming services, Alexa voice skills, and a great player as a digital property as well. And then on the other side, we want to help make your sales team digital sales experts so they can go out and talk digital advertising to complement your traditional advertising. And we'd love to help you with all of the above. And we can talk more about our solutions anytime. Again, feel free to ask my friend Shay about a demo. We're not hard sellers. It's not a boiler room. We're always very enthusiastic to help our partners and our prospective partners grow their digital. And really, we have thousands of radio stations using our platform of all shapes and sizes in all different market sizes. People always hear, oh, I heard SoCast is this, I heard SoCast is that. No, we are really designed and have a track record of helping single station owner operators all the way up to enterprise level groups in large, medium, and small markets. And trust me, there's an area we can help you too. So let's chat for sure. All right, now it's time for today's webinar. So let's get right into it. And we got a lot of slides to cover. And again, we will be providing you with this presentation and a recording of this presentation for your reference and to share with your teams as well. So take some notes, but be relieved that you'll also be able to get this firsthand in the next coming days. So let's talk about, why does digital engagement matter? And the reality is in this day and age, it's about talking to your biggest fans. And really, they're checking you out online, especially as we've talked about in numerous webinars over the last, I guess, 11 months now, crazy enough, that really having a strong digital foundation and destinations online and on smartphones is more critical than ever. Because really, when you talk to your audience in these digital channels, they are going to tune in, and with your tune-ins will always rise with the more site visits that you get. The other thing that's going to rise with more traffic is more inventory. And what I mean by more inventory is the value of your display and video and audio pre-roll will also increase as well. So it's a great opportunity. The more engaging content you have, the more eyeballs to your site, and ideally, the more revenue you can generate with your owned and operated inventory. And the content that we're going to focus on today is how do you do it? And really, we're going to try to provide you with a framework of a digital playbook, a digital content playbook specifically that you can utilize and share with everybody in your organization, from your promotions directors to your DJs and on-air talent, all the way up through your program directors. Really, everybody can have a say in creating excellent digital content. And when we're talking about excellent digital content, we're really talking about generating engagement. And the engagement comes from creating excellent content and then amplifying that content. And the ways to amplify content that we're going to discuss today are things like search engine optimization, the elusive SEO, as well as utilizing social media. So there are a great number of ways that you can engage your audience, and what type of content should be included in your toolkit is easily identified. It can be done through social media, blogs and news story, on-demand content with podcasts. You can engage your audience with push notifications, localized user-generated content, and of course, on-air promotions, online promotions, and video being all the rage these days. The great news is, stick around at the end and I will provide you with one of these amazing content cheat sheets for you and your team. It's an entire checklist of how you create content and things to consider for everybody across your entire organization in the different digital channels that you need to be in. So stick around and I'll tell you how you can get one of these guys. Well, let's start out with content creation guidelines. And what I'm trying to do here is give you a good look into what that content cheat sheet and that content checklist would entail. That's really the objective of today's webinar. So what we do when we want to create engaging digital content, the first thing to think about is you really want to not neglect digital and the content you're producing. You want to come up with a digital content strategy internally, and you'd be surprised how many people in your organization actually have great digital content strategies ideas. So we always propose that forming a digital steering committee to help you develop this content strategy is really important. Within this plan, you want to create different content guidelines. So how frequently will you be producing digital content? What channels do you have the resources? And again, it's really easy to bite off more than you can chew. And we're going to present you with a lot of information. By no means do we have any expectation that all of you are going to walk away and start doing all of this tomorrow. The idea is to start somewhere, take a few steps, and really come up with that content strategy and discuss where you think you can make an impact as quick as possible. And again, we discussed that steering committee, and you want not to neglect it. You want to hold regular meetings to discuss your digital content. You want to develop a content calendar to schedule your posts, to decide how frequently you are going to be able to write new content and put it out there. And we recommend posting digital content not 10 times a day. Now, that doesn't mean you have to produce 10 blogs. It can be a mix. You can do 1 or 2 blogs, the morning show and the afternoon drive guy, maybe a video, and then some social content can be pre-scheduled in advance if you have the proper tools to schedule out promotion of those type of promotion of that type of content. And the other thing is to set actionable goals. Again, not bite off more than you can chew, but figure out what can you do and measure yourself to see if you're hitting those targets. News and blogs is obviously foundational, especially in the live and local environment that radio really thrives in. And live and local is critical to this. So producing information that is relevant to the local community is going to help you drive traffic. And news and blogs are a very foundational part of your digital content strategy and guidelines. I cannot stress enough how important great headlines are, and we're going to do a little bit of a fun headline exercise here just to give you an example. But when you're writing headlines for your blogs, first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to give away too much information. You do want to tease a little bit, and at the same time, you don't want to use a clickbait style of approach. You know, really people are not interested in being pandered to any longer. They don't want to see articles about, did you hear about what happened to former mayor XYZ? They don't want to hear that type of thing. They really want to know what they're clicking on with clear, concise, and relevant headlines. And it's great to use action words such as use, try, follow, real strong action words to generate these type of things. You want to convey as much of a sense of urgency as possible. Ideally, you want to try to include a number. And again, a number isn't relevant to maybe the news content as much that are more factual, but this would be more towards your blogs and more content, your engaging content. And you may even want to try asking a strange or funny question. So if you, in a little bit of an exercise here in constructing a better headline, getting ready for spring. Well, it's relevant for the season, but it has no strong action words, no numbers, nothing specific in there. So if we wanted to work on improving it a little bit more, you could try to help reduce stress this spring or this holiday season. Again, you've increased the relevance for the season. You've added some value that you're going to help them, and you're a little bit more specific. But again, there are no numbers, no strong action words to sort of drive people to have a reason to come to that. If you tried something with an action word such as follow these 4 tips to reduce stress this holiday season or this coming spring, you sort of checked all of the boxes of making it relevant for the season, adding value, being very specific in what you're trying to do, and you've included some strong action words and numbers. So just a fun way to go about maybe showing your content teams how to produce headlines and things to think about as often as possible when constructing a headline, because people will click based upon the headline. There is no question that headlines generate clicks for you and increase the time you're spending on site. Remember, your content is your brand, so you shouldn't fear producing portable, interesting, and engaging content. And it does not have to be long form. More and more people are looking for shareable, quick to read content that can be easily snacked on your website and mobile app. They're looking for short, shareable, quick to read paragraphs with plenty of images or multimedia, videos, memes, audio content is great. They will drive more and more traffic. You want to include real life data to back it up and to generate engagement. And of course, people will want to verify in this day and age more and more that it is real news, that you have sources and links. And use your content to start conversation. A great way to encourage people to go to your website and increase the volume of traffic you get there is to make sure that you have your on-air talent promoting whatever blogs or news stories they have produced, and bridging it by promoting it online and on air. Remember that your on-air talent are considered influencers. The most popular ones can really drive people's behavior. So take advantage of your influencers, and also take advantage of maybe having guest bloggers from your local community who have an influence, and make sure that you are taking advantage of them to have submitting content. Make sure you spend time promoting your content on social, again, on air, and across various platforms. So whether you're sharing it from web to social and having social drive click-throughs back to your website, very important within that strategic playbook. And blog ideas, again, keep them simple. Micro blogs, micro trending content is very, very desirable these days. People are looking for that short form content, and blog around seasonal, whether it's Christmas, prom, back to school, Halloween, upcoming spring, or blog around pop culture and things that are really resonating in Twitter, in social media, and in the news, whether it's a show or a popular topic. Always make sure you have relevant photos and videos or sound clips, ideally, in your blogs and news pages. This will encourage sharing, it will encourage engagement, and it will encourage the opportunity, it will encourage more clicks to that content. And you also want to make your blog searchable, which we're going to talk more about in a moment. There is a stat from Forbes that we got that articles with images get 94% more views than articles without images. So a good reason for you to have that rich media included in your digital content. One very important thing that the checklist really reminds you of is that even though it is so important to have images, you want to make sure that you are accessing images that are Creative Commons rights-free images. It is definitely has to be discussed with your content team that they cannot just go to Google, find an image, add it into a news story without correct attribution or ensuring that it is a Creative Commons rights-free image that is not going to land you with a copyright infringement notice from a lawyer, from Getty's Images or the other image libraries that aren't really allowing for free image use without it. They have an army of people scouring the internet for unlawful use of their imagery, and believe me, they will come after you. So you can use things like Pexels, Unsplash, and Flickrs and access their Creative Commons image libraries, or you can subscribe to a image service. But make sure, because even though there is a cost there, it will save you a lot of money, much better than lawyer fees and having to negotiate with Getty's Images. We hear that all the time from our clients or prospective partners who have come to us and said that that has been a significant pain point for them. The SoCast platform actually integrates with Unsplash and Flickr to access their Creative Commons rights-free image library rate automatically from internally in the dashboard. The next thing we want to talk about is SEO, or search engine optimization. Seven steps to successful SEO. And that's a good example of a good headline, maybe not a great one, but it's got a number in there. It could say use these 7 steps for successful SEO, just to make it a touch better. But we did want to go over these 7 steps because it is really important, and these are really the basics for SEO. This is really everything you need to know. I think people have this idea that SEO, search engine optimization, is some super complex thing. On the back end, absolutely it is. But really, it is not as complex as people make it out to be. And it is a very important thing to consider when developing your content, which is why it's covered in here. Because you should be factoring in ensuring that your websites are being found when people are searching for specific content on artists or local information or events or really trending news. It is really important that your sites show up at the top of the Google search list or search engine lists to be found. And really, we're providing you with a little bit of an SEO hierarchy here. And there are 7 steps that you can do. So first, you want to make sure that your website is crawlable so search engines can read your website. If your sites are not secure, if your sites are not mobile responsive, and you haven't listed them with a proper hosting solution, they will not be searchable. You want to make sure that you have compelling content that answers the searcher's query. And you can do this simply by using proper keywords. So you want to have a repetitive amount of keywords as to what is included in your article. And you want to make sure you are also creating some original content. If you are using RSS feeds, which is totally fine to supplement your own content, or content feeds from a content management system like SoCast, which again we offer, you do want to know that if that is all you are using, you will rank quite low because probably multiple radio broadcasters or multiple publishers are using that same content. So the more you use RSS feeds, the less Google, for example, will see that that is a relevant or unique content piece that can benefit their audience. So you want to make sure that you do have some unique content on your website to increase your rankings within Google. You want to make sure that your websites have a great user experience. If your load speeds are low and your user experience is not mobile optimized, for example, then you are going to rank significantly lower. The same goes for having secure sites that have an SSL certificate. Google will definitely rank you low if your sites are slow, are not optimized for mobile, and are not secure. The more your content is shared or linked back to by other people, the more likely it is to rank higher. So it is important to have unique share-worthy content on your site to help you amplify that. Again, if you are using just RSS feeds, the content producer, because you're linking to them, is going to rank much higher than you. And again, the title, the URL, and the description to drive click-throughs is also going to have a strong role in playing where your news story will rank in the search. And lastly, you want to make sure you have a content management system and a solution that really provides you with a search engine results page that is a behind the scenes site map that automatically gets refreshed and sent to Google every time you make changes to your site or upload a new news story. Because if that is not updated, your news stories are never going to be found, and that is something to consider as well. So SERP stands for Search Engine Results Page, and that is something you really want to ensure you have on your website. More on optimizing your posts for SEO. Remember, think of 1 or 2 keywords that you want people when they search to find you and repeat those within your news stories. Make sure your sites are mobile responsive, and adding text to your images and meta descriptions to your headlines and images will also help you rank higher in your search engine optimization. And you can use many plugins like Yoast and others to help you optimize and ensure that your stories are optimized for search with your website. The next thing we want to talk about is a little bit of social media and some general guidelines for social media. Really keep your posts concise. We think that is a major checkbox. The longer-winded, people tend to veer away from that. People's attention spans are quite low these days with all of the information they have. And really what they're looking for is entertainment, information, and ensuring that you always have a call to action. You can use things like memes, and you can use image flip or a meme generator of many kinds, and I'll provide you with a couple more later on in our presentation. And again, one of the most important things about all social media content production is to maintain a regular and consistent posting schedule. Lastly, Facebook and Twitter are ultimately where your audience is. In fact, 90% of SoCast partners' web traffic from social referrals is generated by Facebook. Twitter represents the next 9%, and the other platforms represent about 1%. So your investment in time should unquestionably be going to Facebook. Even though we're all hearing terrible things about Facebook in this day and age, it is still a major driver of traffic for our partners' websites. So don't forget that. And Twitter is a distant second. But those two make up 99% of social referrals in the SoCast platform. When you're writing for Facebook, consider converting text-based posts to images as much as possible and ensure every post includes media. You want to be personal and emotional. You really want to have your posts reflect your brand. If you're a more serious news and talk station, you want the tone of that to be reflective in your posts. If you're more casual, like you see Q107, they're literally writing on a Bristol board and posting that. Better to have something like that than nothing, but it is a great way to drive engagement. The other thing is you don't want people staying on Facebook. You don't own, you're renting Facebook, and Facebook is benefiting from the traffic that is generated by you. Your best bet to increase the value of your online inventory, your digital inventory, is to drive people back to your site for more information. So use Facebook, Twitter to tease and drive social referrals back to your website. And make sure you're tagging appropriate locations and users as often as possible so you can take advantage of the influencer effect. Something we've shared in a couple of more recent webinars is ideas for writing for Facebook. Again, very simply, great to promote your upcoming program and post images or content from it both before and after. And a great way to think about Facebook is the thirds rule. You want about 1/3 of your posts daily to promote content on your shows or on your website, 1/3 to share, so entertaining posts from either local people, local influencers, some of the talent, whether it's your talent or artist-based talent, you can share those sort of posts as 1/3 of it. And the last third should be really making it about socializing. You can like what others have posted and leave comments. It's a great way to drive your listeners and to engage with them through social media. So make sure you're sharing people's content who are, your P1s and active. You can also offer behind the scenes peeks with photos and videos and post those to Facebook. So in between commercials or at the end of the morning show, doing a quick 5-minute video of the wrap up and what they liked about it and doing a quick interview is a great way. You want to promote content from your blogs and from your streams. So if you have an upcoming on-air interview or you have a blog, make sure you're linking back to your website for that. And again, be as playful as long as it's reflective of your brand. Make sure you are you're promoting that and you're playful with that. And another great way to do things is just making sure you're doing consistent weekly top 5s, top 10s. Doesn't have to be, the top 5 songs. It can be, but it could be the top 5 events in the neighborhood or top 5 funniest jokes you heard this week. It could really be anything, but having a consistent and then cross-promoting that across all of the different channels on air to online as well is a really great idea. With Twitter, you want to use hashtags and mentions. Twitter is a much more short form, headline oriented medium. You want to use short form content and URL shorteners. So you can use a Google URL shortener to drive people back to your website, and always be retweeting relevant content from artists that may be relevant for your format or local influencers as well. Adding a photo URL to your tweet can boost retweets by an impressive 35%, according to Social Media Examiner. So that's a really interesting thing, noting that, the more rich media that you produce, the better off you are. More tips to optimizing your social media efforts. Again, I said this earlier, be on brand with your radio station. Keep your post as engaging as possible and truly aimed at your target audience. And think about the tone and language you want to use and what your posts are about and how that is relevant or reflects your brand. Again, I cannot stress enough to try to link back to your websites as often as possible, either including a link to your player so people can access your stream immediately from their post, or to a blog or news story that you're actually promoting, or even a contest. And know which platform to use. In other webinars we have, and you can check them out on our YouTube channel or email Shay or I for previous webinars around this content. It's important not to just blanket the same post across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Know what each medium does and how it connects with your audience. So, each one really does have a different role. As I mentioned, just to keep it short, Twitter is much more headline and promotional to let people know that you have an upcoming event or an upcoming on-air event that they should be listening to, a listening appointment. But don't treat Twitter like that, or sorry, Facebook like that. Treat that differently, because that is more informational information that people are looking to become more engaged with it. Also, remember, be consistent. Develop a realistic posting schedule. It doesn't matter that I said post 10 times a day or don't. It's do what you can do, but be consistent. If you're posting once a day, sometimes, and then not for 3 or 4 days, you don't really have a social media plan, and you're not going to see any fruits of your labor at all. So just be consistent and try to post multiple times a day throughout the day at a minimum. A great way to do all of that is to make sure that you have a content calendar. And if you have a social relationship management tool that like we have built into our SoCast platform, you can utilize that. You can also utilize other tools that are out there for social relationship management, but this will really effectively provide you with a bird's eye view, so you can see all the content that's going out into the various social media profiles that you're publishing to, and ensure that you have a critical mass and you're not overlapping a ton. You have a good amount of social media content going out across the different channels and by your different authors, and making sure you're getting contributions from all your on-air talent and promotions directors and things like that. The next thing we're going to talk about is contests. So we recommend that contests are a great driver of traffic and data aggregation for your radio stations. It will tell you a lot about your users, your P1s, and if you have a good contesting tool, it will really help you automate contests and collect data. It will allow you to collect information about your P1s and the people who are taking the time to engage with those contests by taking information when they enter, and really drive a high level, if you do contests right, by driving lots of web and social engagement as well. And you can also generate significant revenue through sponsorships and data aggregation through your contesting tool by collecting opt-ins for marketing communications when people register for those. Give you a couple of good examples of some contests that you can take back and hopefully use right away. We saw a great one of our partners did a name that song type contest where they actually removed all of the song listings from their website, their previously played songs, but instead they told people to write them down during a certain time period. They did this, and then go onto the website and enter the 5 songs over that commercial-free hour, or 3 songs over that commercial-free hour to enter to win. This really obviously increases online listening and time spent listening. Great for sort of sweeps, great for, quarterly hour ratings, but it also increased web traffic because it drew people to the website to enter this information. And they were able to use an entry form that collected marketing data via the web form when people entered. And they were able to get over 7,000 entries for that song and saw almost a 10% increase in web traffic during the times that they ran this contest. Another great app-based contest, if you're starting out with the SoCast app, is to use the record and upload the best example of, in this case, a wolf howl. This was used a while ago, back in the good old days when we had concerts for people to go see a trip to go see Metallica. But again, they doubled their app download and app users over a 4-week period. They did this when they first got on the SoCast platform, and on the SoCast mobile app, you can send in a 30-second recording. So, this is just one example, but you can do these type of things with the SoCast app to try to generate app-based engagement. It did effectively drive more downloads and encourage the people to use the app. It encouraged a lot of engagement, and they had a ton of people send in, their best howl. So you can think of a lot of different ways to do that. As I mentioned, sponsored contests that are themed around advertiser requirements and can include a marketing opt-in for the advertiser are great revenue drivers for you. If you have something like, collecting information on, the cutest dog in the local area or the ugliest lunch, you can have those display on your website and galleries. You can share some of this information out for engagement into social media. And of course, you can have that bridge crossed with on-air mentions to online to really bridge that gap and get a cohesive omni-channel programming schedule between on-air and online. So it's a great way. You can always look to your sponsors to also give you some prizing and cash as well. So even if it's not a moneymaker, but you can get some prizing that's really going to drive significant engagement with your audience, that can be beneficial. And sponsorships can vary. We've had partners that have told us success stories of, as low as $1,000 upwards of, $50,000. So it really does range on your market size, the size of your sponsors, but it can be a significant revenue driver depending on your market size. So one sponsored contest idea that we've seen that has sort of become a popular one with our friends at the Cromwell Group, they did a backyard makeover where they had people submit their ugly backyards, and they posted all of these on their website and they had some strong social media engagement and put it in a website gallery. And they had a variety of relevant sponsors sponsor this to give away a $5,000 backyard makeover, and they got a lot of client opt-ins for all of these different sponsors. And again, when I say opt-ins, what you can do on your entry form, on your register to win form is, or when you submit, you can say, would you like to receive special offers from Atlantic Furniture, for example, on, outdoor patio furniture as an example. And they received, I'm sure Atlantic Furniture was thrilled to receive 261 effective leads. So you can really use this as lead generation. And it generated significant revenue. The home makeover that they did, because they also did a home makeover, generated $10,000 in revenue plus $5,000 in prizes. And the backyard promotion did $12,500 with $4,000 in prizes. So some good examples. And it's really important that to think of yourself as a lead generator for your advertisers and sponsors. Another critical content element is memes, video, and lots of other things. So before reading any text, visitors will now watch a video if available. That is a growing trend. Video content is really important. And I mean, if you have people in the studio producing or at home now, a day in the life of a stay-at-home DJ would be a great digital content idea for video. Everybody has a mobile phone. You do not need high-tech video equipment. There are a million free or inexpensive video editors online to do this. And to do this type of thing is not costly or labor intensive. And really everybody has a video camera in their pocket now. So, we recommend using clear branding and title cards for descriptions, and establish a brand or consistent series is a great idea. So if you, can do that series, again, a day in the life of a morning show DJ at home, during work from home, try different things and tie it back to the content on your website. Make sure it's being promoted and that there are calls to action in social media, that you're promoting it, the newest episode or the newest, video that's been produced consistently in social media. You can also use Facebook Live and embed your video on your website. So embed your video on your website. And, make sure you're looking at all the different channels that you can get it into, get it into. Whether it's social, whether it's your web, on your mobile phone, on your mobile apps now. And I think, make sure people are on hand like we are right now to address real-time comments for when it's being posted on social media, or it's being, a live sort of request hour type thing, or where you're taking live comments. That is a really important thing as well. Some great tools that can really help you that are inexpensive. Most of these are inexpensive. Some of them are free, but you can use animated video makers like Biteable.com. Fiverr is an amazing freelance resource for inexpensive graphic design and video production, really anything, very inexpensive, very reliable. It's sort of like a gig economy type service that you can find all sorts of freelancers online. Infographic Maker, been engaged to just produce some great online blogging or more graphical type content. Video and social content creator, a little bit more expensive side, but you have Spark at Adobe is a great tool if it's within your wheelhouse and you are producing a lot of that. And just some relevant memes and GIFs, really easy to do using Imager. Digital ad production tools, I like to just share these as well. You can use disruptiveadvertising.com. These are great ways. These are ad builders that you can use as well that may tie in with your sponsored content. So definitely don't hesitate to use these tools as well. Podcasts is one of the other content that we want to discuss. And I would say, while content is all the rage these days, you need significant, I wouldn't say you need significant resources to produce podcasts. That is really the easy part. It's really promoting and getting enough critical mass of listeners where you can make it worth your while. For the average radio station, the benefit of podcast is that they can time shift your on-air content, or that they can that they are getting behind the scenes sort of feel and look from your existing content. If you do have a team that can actually market your podcasts where you can get enough listeners, then it is absolutely worth it. But I would say podcasting is sort of a shiny ball right now that you really need to think about how you can do it well. The lowest hanging fruit is repurposing your on-air content. And there are some good guidelines in here if you are ready to produce your own podcast or on-demand content. And if you're going to do it, you need to decide to have a consistent brand for that and have a schedule and keep that consistent. You want your intros to be fast hooks, but really engaging and really short. You definitely want to re-engage your audience every 5 to 7 minutes. Repurposing on-air content, again, is that low-hanging fruit. And again, you have influencers on your site, on your stations that you can leverage for your personalities, and make sure you are posting it to everywhere that podcasts are being consumed, obviously through RSS feeds. If you're using a hosting solution, make sure that it is posting to Spotify and Apple, Podbean, etc. There are a million out there, but you want to make sure you're at least on Apple and Spotify for sure. Some great ideas for inspiration for podcasts. I mean, you can do short form. Everybody asks the question, how long should my podcast be? It should be as long as you have quality content is the right answer. And it really depends. Our friends at Stone Calm Radio do a phenomenal job producing a variety of different content ranging from 5 minutes to an hour on all things local, on book reviews, on game day recipes from a local restaurant, for example. Those are very creative ways to get an advertising partner engaged with you, doing a game day recipe for, tailgating at the local college football game, local high school football game, local professional football game, or other, etc. You really want to make sure that you have, obviously local affairs work, DIYs, how to in 5 to 7 minutes, and obviously advice from local influencers or people within the community who have the expertise to offer that type of advice. So some good inspiration here for you. Our friends at CKRM at Harvard Broadcasting do 3 great podcasts. Rider Radio is for the CFL team, and they have a great one. They have their Sports Cage. And then because it's a very agricultural, they have Saskatchewan Agricultural Today as more of a local affairs type podcast. But they do a great job repurposing some of their on-air content from their Sports Cage and live shows. And again, the value of that is that it increases the shelf life of that content and allows you to connect with fans who missed the broadcast. And even though this is a smaller market, with a wide reach, they have significant downloads of those podcasts on a monthly basis. So they've done a great job. Well, my friends, it's time to wrap it up. And if I was to give you 4 points to take away from this, again, be consistent in your efforts. Don't bite off more than you can chew, and have a simple digital strategy that supports one another. So make sure your social media strategy also works in tandem and complements your blogging and news story strategy. Maintain a strong organizational commitment to digital. Make sure you get that steering committee together to decide how you can improve your digital content across social, web, your mobile apps, in your contesting, etc. And meet regularly. I wouldn't say you need to meet weekly, but get something going monthly to start and figure out how you can do that, and make sure you're setting goals with that committee to make sure that you're make sure you're hitting them. And give the people the tools they need. You need a good content management system. It's better to have an integrated content management system. We talk about that quite a bit in our previous webinar last month. And at the end of the year, the value of having an integrated solution like SoCast, very, very important. But make sure you're consistent and you are considering how this can benefit you. So how do you get one of those excellent content cheat sheets? Just email Shay and I, and we'll be sending one to everybody who actually attended or registered for their webinar. Everyone gets one, no problem. I just wanted you to stick around and hear me out. As always, I hope you got a lot from this presentation, or at least 1 or 2 nuggets. We're always open to feedback. You can email me, Eric@SoCast Digital, for a free consultation. If you want to talk digital and figure out things and get a little bit deeper, please do not hesitate. I can help you out. My team can help you out. We'd be happy to talk digital with you. And I'll also be happy to provide you with this presentation. Don't hesitate to book a demo with SoCast if you're not already a partner of ours, or if you want to see more of our tools. You can email me. Not only will we send you the checklist, we can also send you a free digital checklist, which is a bit different. And for any new partner or new prospective partners out there who are on this call, if you sign up before March 31st, you will get 50% off your first year of licensing of your web and app licenses. So it's a great time. We want to get you on board for the remainder of 2021 and help you succeed. And again, I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation and got a lot from it. I enjoyed being here today. I thank you. Remember, we got the tools you need, radio, to help you thrive. So if you want to request a demo, just email me, Eric@SoCastDigital.com. Thanks everybody for being here. Check out our website at www.socastdigital.com, and we'll be in touch with more great webinars next month and coming to you soon. Thanks again for attending. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll speak to you soon.